What's going on, guys? James Neville-Taylor here, coming to you from the Builderall Mansion 2019, and I'm here with entrepreneurial rock star and my new friend David Sharpe.
What's going on, guys?
How's it going, man? Thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Welcome to the inside of my car as well.
Thank you. Yeah, very
and
nice.
And you guys
car.
are inside my car as well.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. Really nice car, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you're here at the Builderall Mansion, and so excited. So I know your time's precious, so I'm going to keep this short. I just got a few questions that I want to ask you, because you're like super successful, and I know there's a lot of people on here who are going to want to know, like, pick your brain and know a few things. So
Sure.
My first question for you is, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
The best piece of advice I've ever been given. I think the best piece of advice that I've ever been given is kind of a funny one from my dad. He said, do something even if it's wrong. And he didn't mean don't have integrity, because my dad also taught me how to have integrity. He taught me that integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's looking. But the old do something even if it's wrong, when we used to pull up on construction sites, a lot of times, just like when you're starting an online business or an affiliate marketing business, or any business for that matter, there's a lot of contemplation, masturbation at the beginning. And I say that to shock you a little bit, hopefully to get you to pay attention and to shut down the Facebook, windows and everything else that you have open, and pay attention, because this really is, what I'll share with you on this video really can help change the direction of your life and your business. But so many people get into entrepreneurship and they're in contemplation for so long. They sign up for something and then they contemplate about how they should get started or what they should say or whatever, and it becomes this perfectionism to where we start filming videos and we don't like the way that we look or sound, and so we delete the first 40 and then we end up posting the 50th video, but we just wish that we would have just went with the first one because it was more authentic anyways. And so doing something even if it's wrong is just about taking action. And the biggest challenge, the biggest hurdle that each one of you guys, I know this because I'm an entrepreneur in the trenches every day, your biggest enemy is yourself. And being up here, contemplating what action you should take, the best teacher that you'll ever get is the experience that you gain from taking action. And we talked about this a lot today, was just getting comfortable with failing forward, getting comfortable with making mistakes, getting comfortable with things not working. Because again, you can jump from webinar to webinar, guru to guru, business opportunity to business opportunity, but until you start to take action and really learn what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you, you're never really going to get any business off the ground. So doing something, and even if it's wrong, meaning even if it's going to fail at first, even if you're going to have challenges, probably some of the best advice I've ever gotten.
Yeah, that's an awesome advice. Really cool. So my next question, you kind of touched on that a little bit, was what do you think is the most important aspect of success?
I think the most important aspect of success is never to become too arrogant. Even if you have a little bit of success, like sometimes somebody will have challenges and failures and struggle for so long, then they'll have a little bit of success, kind of like you're doing. You're having some success now after probably a lot of challenges, right? A lot of struggle.
Absolutely.
And a lot of things that you had to break through personally. But then all of a sudden, I think the biggest, again, we become complacent after we have a little bit of success. And so I think that always staying with the basics, so you never have to go back to the basics, is extremely important with being an entrepreneur and being successful. Because when I look back to my most successful times, and right now I've really understood this, so I'm doing this more than any other time that I've done it in my life, is just being consistent, not leaving the basics. Right now, creating content like you're doing right now is huge. Creating content every day and posting content and posting value and giving the marketplace value is extremely important, and being consistent with that. So not getting complacent. That's the number one, not getting away from the basics is, I think, the number one most important thing for us all to remember.
Absolutely, yeah, I completely agree. Consistency is key. As soon as you get complacent where you are, that's like the danger zone where you're going to fall back into where you were before. So some people get to some point and they think, oh, I can just lay back and relax now, but it's not. You need to keep pushing forward on that next level and next level.
That's when you need to put
Yeah.
Even more, like when you're starting to gain some momentum, that's when you need to put more fuel on the fire.
Exactly. Awesome, man. So yeah, my next question is, there's, especially in the entrepreneurial world, there's a lot of people who give up when they're so close to success, and they fail a few times and then give up. So what advice would you give to someone who's struggling and thinking of giving up?
Don't stop before the miracle happens. Don't stop before the miracle happens, man.
Yeah.
I mean, most people who quit are just a smidgen away from succeeding. Most people who stopped, who never found gold, were probably just a couple of feet away from it.
Yeah.
Just a millimeter off. So don't quit before the miracle happens. I think that success is like the game of Survivor, where you outplay, outwit, but mostly just outlast. Like if you can just outlast people, because most people will quit.
Yeah.
So if you can just outlast people, then that's half the battle right there. So don't quit before the miracle happens. I've always remembered that phrase. I've always lived by that phrase, and anybody who's taken that advice to heart has experienced results, because simply they didn't quit and they experienced a win. And for some of us entrepreneurs, when we make a commission or we get a sale or we get a client, it's like a miracle. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Right? The miracle is when it becomes real and you prove to yourself that you can do it.
Absolutely, man. That's a really good answer. So last thing I want to touch on is a little bit about your journey. So you, like me, went through a lot of struggles back in the day when you first started.
Yeah.
You overcome a lot of hardship, and I think some of the most powerful success stories and the most influential people all came from a lot of struggle. So can you tell us just a little bit about your story, about when you decided to become an entrepreneur, and how that happened?
Yeah, I think it's most important for me to first say that your mess is a message, and it may not feel like a message right now. It may feel like a big old disgusting mess, but it's a message. There's a message in there, and your struggles are your strengths. Every single thing that's helped me to be successful at once I thought was a liability.
Yeah.
So I was homeless. I was a 9th grade dropout. I was a teenage father. I am all these things. Not I was. I am a recovering addict and alcoholic. I've been clean and sober now in long-term recovery. I was homeless. I'm not homeless anymore, thankfully.
Yeah.
But if I get too arrogant and I don't remember where I came from, I could be back there. I'm not so arrogant to think that I'm just now 10 foot tall and bulletproof. So I continue to address the things that I don't want to look at in life. And I'm talking about all the difficult parts of my marriage, the challenging parts of being a father, the challenging parts of being an entrepreneur. Because I've been through what I've been through, and the way that I overcame it was to deal with it head on, I've now taken this great joy, and sometimes it's not always fun, sometimes it's hard work, but to work on myself and to continue to grow myself as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a dad, as a husband. And it's brought me to where I'm at today. And it's not, a lot of people think I'm a successful marketer, entrepreneur, but I really think it's deeper than that. I've been successful at really working on who I am and transforming the person that I was into the person that I am today. Not ignoring that I have a past, because I don't try to deny it. I just realized today that all those survival mechanisms that I used in my past to stay alive, I don't have to use those to stay alive anymore. I don't have to use those to protect myself from people who are unsafe. But what I can do is I can turn those survival skills and that fight that's inside of me, I can turn that and I can direct that into entrepreneurship. And I can use, it's kind of like back in the day, we have this thing in our brain called the amygdala, and that's what tells us that something is dangerous and that we should run. Well, no longer are we running from saber-toothed tigers anymore like we used to back in how many thousand years ago. But we still have that tool that we can use, that maybe I'm around somebody who is unsafe or abusive or something, and that can kick in, and I can use that part of me as a way to keep me safe. I do the same thing now. I use all that those challenges from early childhood and those challenges from my teenage years and those things that I did to myself and bad decisions that I made, and I transform all that emotional energy into drive and passion to go out and make something of my life so it's not all in vain, and also to impact other people so I can have experiences like this, like I've had with you today, to where we share our stories. And to me, that's really the most fulfilling part of this business, is that I've learned to be okay with myself, to turn my mess into a message, turn my struggles into strengths. And it's a joy. It's not just about making a buck. It's about making an impact. So that's a little bit of my story and how I've used it to be able to, to materialize and manifest into success in the means of cars and houses and stuff. But again, what you'll find is that stuff won't bring you happiness. No matter how many cars you get, no matter how many, your bank account balance is going to go up. But for me, I found true joy in sharing my story and my mess and turning it into a message. And I've used entrepreneurship and I've used digital marketing as the way to help me do that.
Wow.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. Definitely. Wow. That is a very powerful message. Absolutely. And it's all about the transformation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really cool. Thank you for that. That's a
welcome.
really powerful message. So, yeah, you heard it from David Sharpe. Really awesome guy, entrepreneur, my new buddy. And yeah, so thank you again for being here. I really
welcome,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Check in. Subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit that bell notification, follow us on YouTube for more stuff coming out of the Builderall Mansion, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks guys.
See you guys. Peace.